Hello students, today we are going to do a quick revision of the chapter Nutrition in Plants in a flow chart form. Okay, so first of all, what are nutrients? Nutrients are the different components present in this food. Okay, what are those components? Those components are what? Carbohydrate, and what? Protein, fat, vitamins and minerals. So these are the nutrients which we are taking in our food. Okay, so what is the nutrition? Nutrition is the process of whole metabolizing of what? The nutrients present in the food in order to get energy for the body growth, for different repairing the worn out cells in the body. Okay, so now this nutrition is divided into two parts: autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. So when we are talking about autotrophic nutrition, it means what? Here they can prepare their own food. How can they prepare their own food? Because here these plants are having chlorophyll in them. This chlorophyll is the main pigment which is responsible for making its own food by the process of photosynthesis. So in the process of photosynthesis, what happens? The plants take in what? The sunlight, carbon dioxide, minerals, and in the presence of chlorophyll they form what? Carbohydrate. And what did they form? Carbohydrate and oxygen is given out. Okay, this photosynthesis, when we are seeing in this, they are having, from where they are doing this process is carried over by the stomata present on the leaves. Here, from here only the gaseous exchange takes place and it takes in carbon dioxide. From where does it takes water? It takes the water from the roots of the plant. And how it is transmitted from the roots to the leaves? Through the pipeline structures known as what? Vessels. And then comes heterotrophic nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition, here what happened? Here they don't have chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is not present, and as the result they can't prepare their own food. So if they can't prepare their own food, this heterotrophic mode of nutrition is also carried out by different types of plants. That is the parasitic plant, insectivorous plants, saprotrophs, and the last is the symbiotic. When we are talking about the parasitic plants, here actually they don't have the chlorophyll. This Cuscuta, I have given the example. Here this Cuscuta, they are not having chlorophyll. It is yellow in color. It lives in other trees to take the nutrition from it, and the tree on which it is living, what did I say to you? It is the host. Okay, so here it takes the food from the tree on which it is living by sucking the food from that tree. So it is harming the tree, and as it is harming a tree, it is known as what? A parasite. And two types of parasitic plants are also there. Total parasite, I said to you what it is, Cuscuta, and partial parasite is what? The mistletoe. This is what? A partial parasite, because it has the presence of chlorophyll but it can't take water and minerals, and as the result it takes the water and minerals from the tree on which it is living. When I am talking about the insectivorous plants, they are also known as carnivorous plants because they take in what? The insects. And why do they take in insects then? Can they prepare their own food? They can prepare their own food, but yes, they take the insects to fulfill its nitrogen requirement, because these insectivorous plants, they live in where? The soil which is very poor in nitrogen, and as a result what happens? This pitcher plant I am saying the insectivorous plants, what they do? They take in the insects. Examples of insectivorous plants are pitcher plant, okay, sundew, then Venus flytrap, What do? They take the insects, all the other like pitcher plant, they have got flap-like structure, bag-like structure, and the mouth is covered with a flap-like structure. It takes in as soon as the insect enters the bag-like structure, the flap closes, isn't it? And it digests the insect which is inside the pitcher, and it fulfills its nitrogen requirement. And like that only, Venus fly trap also, they traps the flies by trapping it, and as soon as the fly comes inside what happens, it traps it, and it releases the digestive juices which digest the fly which is inside it, and it fulfills the nitrogen requirement. Okay, now saprotrophs. Saprotrophs, they are non-green in color. They feed on what? Dead and decaying matter, because they can't prepare their own food. And example of saprotrophs are fungi. I explained you the example of the bread, on which if you want to see how they grow, take the bread, moist it, and keep it in warm temperature. After 1 or 2 days, we see some thread-like structures growing over it. That is nothing but the fungi. They are very colorful in nature, and this fungi, they produce spores, and these spores, it just looks like dust-like structure on the substance, and as these spores are present in the atmosphere, it can infect anyone and anything which is moist and which is in warm condition, like the clothes, like the shoes, which are biodegradable in nature. And it also affects the organisms' bodies or the skin also by growing on it if it is not being cleaned and it is wet, and or we can say moist, and the condition is warm. And next is the symbiotic. Symbiotic, what do we mean by symbiotic? It is a mutual relationship between the organism in which both the organisms are benefited. Like in this lichen, I have said the example I have written here, lichens, water lichens, they are symbiotic relationship between algae and fungi, in which algae gives food to the fungi and fungi gives shelter to the algae. And one more example is the rhizobium. Next is the rhizobium, which lives in the roots of the leguminous plants. Here this rhizobium, what does it do? It gives, it fixes the atmospheric nitrogen in the soil and make it in the soluble form so that it can be used by that plant. And in return, the leguminous plant, what do? They provide nutrition as well as shelter to this bacteria, that is the rhizobium. Okay, so now how are the nutrients replenished in the soil? Actually, in this, how can we increase the fertility of the soil? If the plants are grown one after another on the same soil, what happens? The nutrients gets decreased, and as a result we need to improve the quality of the soil by adding nutrients. So how do we do that? First we will do what? We add manures. In manures, what we are adding? We are adding the animal waste. This animal waste, like what? Example, what? Cattle dung. This consists of number of nutrients in it, and as a result, when we add this cattle dung to the soil or cow dung to the soil, what happens? It adds up the nutrients in the soil and make the soil fertile. Second is that of the compost. This compost is prepared by the biodegradable waste of our houses. What do we do in this? We take all the biodegradable waste, even the fallen leaves and all also, and then put it inside, dig the soil, put it inside it, cover it with the soil and leave it for a few days. It turns into compost, which is very, very fertile soil, and it adds up to the fertility of the soil where we are adding it. Okay, and the third is fertilizers. So fertilizers, common example we can say urea. Here the chemicals, the nutrients in the chemical form only directly are added to the soil to increase the fertility of the soil. And then next come is growing of leguminous plants. So in these leguminous plants, actually they can say that the roots of the leguminous plants consists of what? Nodules, in which bacteria like rhizobium live in that. Okay, this I said to you is a symbiotic relationship. What happens in this? Again I am explaining you. In these root nodules, what is present? This bacteria, that is the rhizobium. Okay, so here this leguminous plant, what it can't takes in nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere. So this bacteria rhizobium, it converts the atmospheric nitrogen into what? The soluble form in the soil, and now the plant can use it up. And as the result, this plant is helping in fixing the nitrogen in the soil. So it is adding up the nitrogen in the soil, and which makes the soil fertile in nature. So this is all about the chapter nutrition in plants. Now let us discuss some NCERT questions of this chapter. So in the back exercise I can see the questions, and all these questions starting from question number 1, all we have studied when we were studying this chapter, nutrition in plants. All the questions answers are being discussed in the topic. But in question number 13 I want to discuss with you all, why do farmers grow many fruits and vegetable crops inside large greenhouses? What are the advantages to the farmer? Okay, so students, have you seen these greenhouses? It is, you can see frequently at the sides of the roads also, and in the fields also. These farmers are practicing now. Actually what happens, these plants are grown inside this, and as a result it can take in the sunlight properly. Carbon dioxide content inside these greenhouses are also more comparative to if we are just planting it in the fields. And as the result, what happens here, photosynthesis can take properly, and their flowering period is also increased, and they will have more time for flowering. Now, one more advantage is that if there is strong wind or rain, what happens, the plant gets damaged. But here if it is cultivated in the greenhouses, what happens, this wind and water and other destructive things can't destroy these plants, and so farmers choose to grow the plants in the greenhouses, and as they are not destroyed, it is good economically also, and the quality also of the fruits and vegetables remains more better. In now some Paheli questions which we have not discussed, the Paheli and Bojo questions. Okay, so first question is from Paheli. Paheli wants to know whether mosquitoes, bed bugs, lice and leeches that suck our blood are also parasite. Yes, these are also parasites. I said to you, parasite take food from the other organism, and that organism is known as host. Here the host, we are the human beings, from which this lice and leeches are what they are doing, sucking blood, and they are harming to us. So they are parasites. Next question is of Bojo. Bojo is confused. If the pitcher plant is green and carries out photosynthesis, why does it feed on insects? Actually, pitcher plant, they can prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. But yes, they do feed on insects. Why? They take nitrogen from the insects. Actually, they grow in the soil which are deficient in nitrogen. To fill the nitrogen content in their body, they take in the insects. Next question is from Bozo. Bozo wants to know how these organisms acquire nutrition. They do not have mouth like animals do. They are not green plants as they lack chlorophyll and cannot make food by photosynthesis. Actually, this is asking about, Bozo is asking the question on the saprotrophs. Okay, here they are saying that fungi and all, they are, how do they acquire the nutrients? Actually, they acquire the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. How they do? They produce some digestive juices on the matter on which it is taking the food, and this digestive juices converts that solid food into soluble form, and then these fungi or the saprotrophs take in that food, and thus it carry out the process of digestion and fulfills its requirements of the nutrients. Next is the last question from Paheli. Paheli is keen to know whether her beautiful shoes which she wore on special occasions were spoiled by fungi during the rainy season. She wants to know how fungi appear suddenly during the rainy season. Actually, what happened here, Paheli is saying that the fungi has spoiled her shoes. Yes, it has. Why? I said to you, fungi grows in what? Moist conditions and in warm conditions and in humid conditions. This means what? The humid conditions. And here the fungi is growing on the shoes of this Paheli. And how it is that we can't see the fungi, but fungi has infected the shoes because the spores of the fungi are present in the atmosphere, and when these spores get the favorable condition, it starts growing on them. So student, this is all about this chapter, nutrition in plant. Hope so you all have understood all the topics, even the summary and the quick revision. And that's all. Next in the next class. Take care.